Long ago in 1890, around Tombstone, Arizona, a group of cowboys were herding their cattle in the Huachuca Desert when a large bird-like creature began terrorizing the men, their horses, and their cattle. The creature had scaly skin and stood 8 feet tall with an impressive wingspan of 92 feet, a long neck with a long beak, eyes as round as plates, and 2 little feet to carry itself on the ground. Scared of what devastation this winged creature could cause, they chased the creature through the desert on horseback, guns blazing, looking to make their mark. Allegedly, these men were able to bring down the creature, and took a photograph for the local paper of the Tombstone epitaph. For many years, there have been sightings of large winged creatures, not just in the American Southwest, but throughout the world. They are still being reported today. The fun with this photo is that it's clearly a fake, and allegedly there was a real photo taken, but that one has been held up in conspiracy. The Tombstone epitaph didn't possess any photo capturing equipment at the time, and another variation is that the photo was somehow produced, but ultimately was lost in a fire. How convenient. There is an account from an old-time cowboy who claimed to have been working the ranch at the time the beast was seen, and the cowboys did chase it. One claimed they shot it, but the creature frightened the horses and they had to turn back before killing the creature. So the legend lives on. To begin this, just a little side note, I'm going to screw up some names. It's just hard for me to pronounce. Again, I apologize. I hope you enjoy. What is a Thunderbird? According to many various Native American tribes, who clearly all borrow ideology from each other, have tales about large powerful birds that represent power, protection, and strength. They are sometimes depicted as eagles, who live high on the mountaintops, and when they flap their wings, it would produce a sound of thunder clapping. Lightning would emit from their eyes when they flashed them, and as the birds sailed through the skies, the condensation in the atmosphere would accumulate and drip from their gigantic quills, causing rainstorms. In most myths, they are believed to be divine creatures of the heavens, who bring seasons and peace to the land, and are the natural enemy of the horned serpent and the water panther, who rule in the watery underworld. According to an Algonquin myth, the Thunderbird throws lightning at these two in efforts to protect humanity. There are many different stories about the Thunderbirds, varying from tribe to tribe. From the Pacific Northwest tribes, you get the story as old as time, about the sky, the land, and the sea, all meeting in a battle of chaos. A great whale had grown angry and began killing other animals and humans, causing massive waves crushing down on shores, making landslides, starving out the people and the animals on land, while killing those at sea. Then a Thunderbird appears in kindness for the human beings, and pulls the great whale out of the ocean and drops him onto the land, where the two battle until the whale is dead. Geologists and anthropologists believe that this tale is to help describe the natural disaster that happened in the Pacific Rim during the 1700s, when an earthquake caused a massive tsunami that ravaged the west coast, all the way to the shores of Japan. There is another tale from the Northeast tribes that talks about men becoming Thunderbirds, and even flying with them into battle with another Thunderbird from the south called Wuchosun. According to the Passamaquoddy myth, eventually they took down Wuchosun, but the skies did not calm, so a man stepped forward and helped Wuchosun's broken wings, and was able to help them calm the winds. Why was the bird's wings broken? Well, it wasn't in the battle it had just endured. There's a prequel myth about the people's great hero, Glooskap. In this earlier tale, the hero Glooskap grew tired of Wuchosun's constant thrashing, which caused winds and thunderstorms of chaos. So one day he bound the bird's wings so tightly, Glooskap broke them. Then the winds had stopped, and Glooskap learned how, without the winds, living was hot and difficult. So he went back to the bound Thunderbird and loosened him a little to get a gentle breeze going. This is another explanation from a myth that you need the winds to bring humidity. There are many myths about this creature. Some stories are about the Thunderbird offering peace to humanity through magic or a ceremonial pipe. One story involved 2 children reaching the top of a volcano to find a Thunderbird living in it. Oh, and they all died. So yeah, I can't really imagine the kids asking for this one during bedtime. The earliest depiction we have of this creature in North America is a petroglyph found in Twin Bluffs, Wisconsin. This petroglyph belongs to the ancient ancestors of the Ho-Chuk tribe, who still reside in the area today. It's a well-guarded private location to prevent any vandalism. There are more rock drawings found throughout America, and anthropologists think that this has to do with the symbol X, and how it's a simple formation of lines that lends itself to inspiring a bird-like depiction. This is a more scientific approach to the petroglyphs, but here we can say that the natives and present peoples of the continent have been perhaps witnessing a cryptid this whole time. Author Jerome Clark wrote a book called Unexplained, various phenomenons throughout America. And here he has a little footnotes about some sightings of the Thunderbird. In the early 1940s, writer Robert L. Lindman spotted a Thunderbird sitting on the road near Cottersport, Pennsylvania. It soon took to the sky, spreading its 20-foot wingspan. In 1969, the wife of Clinton County, Pennsylvania sheriff saw an enormous bird over Little Pine Creek. She said its wingspan appeared to be as long as the creek was, about 75 feet. And in 1970, several people saw a gigantic bird soaring towards Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. It was dark-colored and its wingspan was almost like that of an airplane. In 1948, several witnesses along the Illinois-Missouri border sighted a condor-like bird about the size of a Piper Club airplane. A famous sighting happened on July 25, 1977, in Lawndale, Illinois. A group of boys were attacked by large birds of unknown origin. These creatures are believed to be Thunderbirds. The story goes a little further that a boy named Marlon Lowe was carried up into the air by the Thunderbird's huge talons after being chased. The bird successfully carried the boy about 30 feet before Lowe's mother was able to rescue him. Lowe had a description of black and white rings around the bird's neck and a 6-inch hooked beak. This description might be a key to identifying the cryptid, but what caught my attention to this story is that the Thunderbirds are trying to take children. When it comes to cryptozoologists, one of the identifiable habits of the Thunderbird is that they try to steal children. It's most likely due to their body mass and needing to eat enough to maintain their size, and small children would fit the bill. But also, now it preys on people's fears. If these things are real, they might eat your children. Strangely enough, we can see the myth of the Thunderbird travels across the span of the continent, and there have been large number of sightings of giant bird-like creatures over Pennsylvania. One of the reports comes from September 25th, 2001, when a young man sighted the cryptid flying in South Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The witness described the sounds of its wings like flags flapping in a thunderstorm, and the beast having a 10 to 15 foot wingspan, and a head as long as 3 feet. There are also more similar reports around the time in the same area of locals witnessing Thunderbirds take flight. There's even a report from Alaska back in 2018 of seeing this fly in the sky. There's actually so many sightings of what is believed by the witnesses to be Thunderbirds, but the biggest problem is all modern reports of this creature have been the same. They were driving out, they heard a thunderclap, when they looked up they saw the beast. No verifiable photographs and a bunch of fuzzy camera footage. Tell me in the comments below, have you ever seen a Thunderbird, or do you know anyone who has? Explanations about this creature are very simple. It's a winged creature that roams around the lands, most likely looking for food sources. When modern man tries to think of something that would help explain this phenomenon, they get a little more fantastical about it, using the pterodactyl as the prime example. But this wouldn't make sense. The pterodactyl lived with the dinosaurs, and they all went extinct or evolved into smaller animals, like how the T-Rex is a distant cousin of the chicken. It's been suggested that the Thunderbird may have been based on an animal that might have lived alongside early Native Americans and has gone out in extinction. But there is no fossil record to suggest that. Another thing that has stopped cryptozoologists from finding this creature, we haven't found any of their nests. Their nests are believed to be at the summits of tall mountains, where the air is cold and too difficult to breathe. Even in Native American mythology, these mountaintops are believed to be the Thunderbird's homes. Also, the scientists have very little information to run on other than large birds. They don't know what their colors really are. They don't really know about their beak or skull shape. Most depictions about their wingspans vary in size. Some depictions have led to some sort of great eagle or the California condor. The California condor and some earlier 1900s descriptions have something in common. At one point, the Thunderbird was described to look like a giant vulture, but this description has seemingly become unpopular. We also don't know how many of them are left, and if they are on the verge of extinction, or maybe it's already too late as of writing this. There is also no conclusive evidence in the fact that Thunderbirds exist, or really have ever existed as far as the living, breathing animal from this planet. But I have enough reservation that the Thunderbird lives on through the Native Americans who wrote the stories about them. However, the Thunderbird motif is not done with this continent. The term Thunderbird is used throughout North America. Examples are you've got Ford, the car maker, and they got the Thunderbird sports car. Game Freak over in Japan, inspired by this, created the legendary Pokemon Zapdos. And then when they made it its Galarian form, they based it on a Roadrunner, further leading to the Thunderbird's homeland. Me, personally, I would be surprised if we did find such a creature to match its description, but here's the thing. I've lived in the Southwest for most of my life, and I've seen many beautiful and bizarre things in the desert, but I have never seen anything like a large bird flying, and I have never met a person who claims they have. I think this is just an awesome myth that people really gravitate to, and keep it alive for that very reason. Hey, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed.